Okay, welcome for today's session. We are still going through the Zoom training. So today I'm going to show you how you can be able to use the Annotate Bar. And here is the Annotate Bar. It will help you make illustrations on your presentations like the ones you'll see me doing. So I'll divide my Annotate Bar into two. Okay, sorry. I'll divide it there. So the ones on the right hand side over here, we are going to start with those ones because those ones are a bit basic. Then we can be able to go back to the ones on the left hand side. So on the right hand side, we have an eraser. The work of an eraser is well known. It's just to erase any drawing you have made. My vanishing pen that I'm using does not need to, you don't have to erase it. But for the other drawings, you can see they can't disappear unless I erase them, like this line over here and this arrow that I've drawn over there. If I wanted to erase them, I would have used the eraser. Then we have format. The work of the format is to change the color of your text or your drawing. That's the main work. Those are the only two things it can change: the color of your text or your drawing. But there's a fundamental difference between, if you want to change the color of the text, you can change even after writing. For example, I can write, let me write my name. My name is Martin. Let me write Rabbi Martin. So it's green. I had not changed the color before, but I can change the color now before I write the next name and maybe make it red on format, and I can be able to write my name in red. But also the best thing about it is for text, you can also change the color after writing. For example, I have selected, I click select. Select helps me pick the things that I've already picked, that I've already written or drawn. So anything, if I click on select, I can be able to have that text box. Then I can change the color and make it red. So you can see that even after writing, you can change the color afterwards. That's the fundamental difference. For this bottom one is red, I can change it afterwards and make it green. But the format works differently when it comes to drawing. For example, if let's say draw a green circle, if I click on select and double click, okay, and click on that circle, if I come to format, I cannot be able to change the color. I can only change the color before when it comes to drawing. So if I want to draw a red circle, I have to change the color on format first. Then I come and I draw the red circle. If I want to draw a brown circle, I come and change the color first. Then I draw. So format, the main work for format, format helps. Format, it helps us change the colors of anything we write and anything we draw. The colors of things we write and the things we draw. The fundamental difference is for writing, you can change the color before and after. But for the ones you draw, you only change the color before. If you want to something of a different color, you have to erase the one you have already drawn and then change the color before. So that's for format. Apart from format, the next thing we have is the undo. Undo, the main work is it can help you erase things that you have just done right now and you don't want them. For example, if I press undo, you'll notice things will disappear on the screen. So if I didn't want those things, I can now proceed without that. Or if I want to erase something that I want, for example, I want to get rid of those things, but I would want them back later. Now, if I press redo, I can be able to have everything that I previously had. So that's the main work for undo and redo. And I'm sure you can be able to you can be able to work that one out. For clear, if I want to erase everything that I have drawn on this whiteboard or on this picture, I can just go to clear. It has 3 options: clear all drawings, clear my drawings, clear viewers drawings. So clear all drawings, it will clear everything, regardless whether it is me who put it there or wrote it there, or it's the person who's looking at my video. Maybe we are having a live video and someone else can also draw on my screen. So it clears everything. Clear my drawing in case that I'm sharing a video or I'm having a meeting with someone and they have also made writings on the screen that I have. If I write clear my drawings, it will only get rid of my drawings. If I click on clear viewers drawing, it will only get rid of the viewers drawing. So clear has all those options, but let me say most of the time it is only you who will be making the drawing. So if you can write clear all drawings or clear my drawings, and it will get rid of everything. So a good example is I've done that, and you can see everything I'd written imetolewa. If I want it back, I can simply just click on undo, and I can be able to have everything back to where it was. So that's when it comes to clear. Then the next thing we have is save. Save is if I want a picture of whatever drawing I have made or whatever thing I've made, whatever is on my screen after I have made all the drawings and writings like this one. If I click save, it will take a picture of the screen, and then I can be able to use it for reference later in case I want to use it for reference later. So that's what save does. And lastly, we have this small box, and the purpose of this small X is to just close the annotate bar. Maybe you have already finished making your point by adding illustrations with the annotate bar, but you can also close it. So that's the purpose of the things on the right hand side. They're pretty easy. Now we are going to look at the things on the left hand side, which are these things over here, and we will start with select. Any of the writings that I've made, for example, this particular writing over here, this is a different text box from this text box over here. So this is a circle. If I want to select anything, if I want to maybe increase the diameter of this circle, I don't go to draw, I go to select. If I click on select, I can be able to adjust the dimensions of that particular circle. If I had misspelled my name here, I can simply click, and then, or I missed something to add, I can add Rabbi Martin. Then let me say from Rabbi. So if I wanted to add something on the text box, I can do so. And the text box is better. So if I want to make this text box a little bit smaller so that it does not interfere with the other things, I can also do so. So text allows us to pick the different elements that we have. For example, this arrow, if I want to change its direction, I can do so. I don't have to erase it, then draw a new arrow. I can just click on select, click on it, change its direction, and do the same. The same is for this arrow. If I want to increase its length, I can click on select, then I can be able to do that. If I want to change the picture of this particular text box, remember that Zoom deals with text box. It doesn't deal with a particular text. It looks at this as a text box. So if you erase this, you erase the whole text box. If you want to erase a particular part, you have to click on select, double click, and then it comes inside. Then you can erase elements inside the text box. But if you just take the eraser and erase it, for example, if I do that, let me click on my eraser. I have my eraser now. I have erased the whole text box. So it deals with text box. So I can click on select. Maybe I want to change the color, or I just want to remove one part, or I forgot to put a full stop. After that, I can be able to do that, and that, and that, and then I can change the color of that particular text box. And that's the work of select. The work of text. So we have already looked at select. Select helps us to be able to pick different elements, either drawings or text box, and be able to format them. So that's the work of select. The simply allows us to write. Like if I click on text, it's text that allowed me to write this. Every time you click on a text, it gives you the ability to have a text box. So they would, so like that one, you can see I have a new text box over there. So I can write, thank you for joining today's training. Thank you for joining today's training. So that's my text box. So I have just noticed that I did not use an apostrophe, rather I used something else. So I can simply go to select. If I want to edit something within the text box, I use select. Then yes, thank you for joining today's training. If I would want to change the color, I can change the color afterwards and make it blue. So that's how you go about it. That's what text does. The next thing is draw. And draw gives us the ability to draw different things. So maybe let me clear a number of things. Let me get rid of that. And under draw, we can be able to, one, scribble. The first thing you'll get is a scribbler. So a scribbler allows you to write whatever you want, in whichever shape you want, whether you want to write a name, a symbol, whatever you want to do. That's the scribbler. It's under draw. The next thing we have is straight lines. You can be able under draw to draw things of straight line or just a straight line. For example, I can be able to draw that, or I can be able to draw different shapes. Let's say a parallelogram. There is no particular button under there to draw a parallelogram, but if I use the straight line, I can be able to draw parallelogram. There's no button under draw to draw a triangle, so I can be able to also draw my triangle like that. If I want to make this line shorter, I can click on select, click on the line, and then I can be able to adjust it and have my right angled triangle. So that's straight line, and you can be able to draw different shapes that are made out of straight lines. So apart from draw, the straight line, the other thing that we have, let me get rid of the objects for the straight line. The other thing that we have is an open triangle. So that's an open triangle. So you can be able to draw an open triangle for different purposes. So for example, those are two open triangles. Then using maybe a straight line, I can be able to draw a matrix of a cuboid. So everything just depends with whatever you want to do and your creativity and your imagination. With that, you can see that now I have an open cuboid, if I wanted to teach anything based on that. So we have open triangles, which that's how an open triangle looks like. The other thing we have over there, we have an open circle. So you can have all circles don't have to be shaded, so you can have an open circle, and I can have it in whichever color I want. If I just go to format, and I have there another open circle. If it's not looking like a circle, I can click on select, click on it, and adjust the different lengths to make sure that it looks like a circle. So that's what another thing we have. We have an arrow like the one I drew, so you can be able to draw an arrow pointing to that direction, pointing to that direction for different purposes. So that's also something else we have under draw. Under draw, we have slightly a semi-shaded triangle, mini rectangle. You can see if I draw it on top of the other, it's not fully opaque. It's translucent. It's not transparent. So we have a translucent rectangle. You can use it to maybe highlight in case you want to highlight something. You can use it for your own purposes, whatever you want to do. You can find its use. So that's something we have. Another thing that we have over there is we have a translucent circle. So you can also have it for anything you would want to do. The other thing that we have over there is we have a kite or a rhombus, however you want to do, whatever you want to do, all you have to do is just adjust the different lengths. Though it's more of a rhombus because all the lengths are always equal. So we have it over there. We have a dimensions bar, like the one over here. You can put it on this circle, maybe to show diameter. I can put it on the green circle to show radius. I can put it here on the kite or rhombus to show the different lengths. Yep, so that's something we do have. I also normally use it also for angles because you'll realize we don't, it's hard, I can put it over there to show an angle, maybe a 60-degree angle. So we also have that under draw for dimension. Then we have the solid rectangle, which is that way. Everything behind it is completely opaque. It's completely opaque and it can hide everything. So if, for example, I can make it black. Let me make mine black. I can be able to write new things on top of it. If maybe I felt the page is filled, I didn't want to delete everything behind, I can just create another black or white board and then just continue with my class on top over here. And the student is still able to see whatever I'm writing. So we have an opaque one. You can have it, you can make it color white. It doesn't have to be black all the time. So let me make it white. So if I make it white, I have a complete new whiteboard. When I draw up on top of it, it's like the whiteboard is clean, but there are things behind it. So maybe I just didn't want to delete them. So we have also the opaque object. If I click and do, I think I can go back to my original screen. So that's one thing we do have. And the opaque circles here, they are. You can use them to illustrate anything that you want to do. So that's the work of draw. The next thing that we have over there is the stamp. Let me change the color of my vanishing pen. Here we have the stamp. The stamp is used to illustrate anything. For example, you want to show a student where they will get marks. So you cannot change the colors of the elements in the stamps. So maybe that's where you get a mark. You've gotten a mark by doing that and that. Or maybe this is where students lose marks. So if you do it this way, it's wrong. So you can use a stamp to just illustrate your point more. I think we will look at it more. And there are various stamps. You can show that this is the important concept. Always write that one over there by putting a star. Always draw and measure it that way. Always draw the arrow facing it that direction. And the other stamps that you can use, there's the one for question mark. Maybe you had typed a question, you can write it up that way, or maybe if a student leaves it in a certain way, they will not get the full mark because they have left it open. So you have the stamp for that purpose. And then lastly, we have the spotlight. And the spotlight first is the one that you see. Now my mouse has like a spotlight on top of it. So the purpose of the spotlight is to make sure that the student or the person who's viewing your screen can be able to know where you're pointing at. Because if it was on the blackboard, you'll use a pointer to point that this is the place that I'm pointing to. This is the place that I'm pointing to. But on your screen, you can't tell a student, I want you to focus on the top right. Instead of saying that, focus on the top left, you can just put a spotlight and come over there and show them that whether we are talking about this area or we are talking about this particular question marks. There are very many question marks. So you can be able to do that. And the spotlight, we also have an arrow. You can be able to also use the arrow. I'm talking about this particular question mark and not this one. I meant this particular question mark. I didn't mean this one. So you can be able, there are three things that you can use under spotlight to be able to just get your students' attention. Once you've used the arrow, it doesn't disappear. So the arrow, unlike the spotlight, you have to erase it like I've done over there. Then the lastly, it's the vanishing pen that I've been using all along. I'm talking about this particular question mark and not this one. So the vanishing pen, it's once you have put a mark, it will disappear on its own. So that's the vanishing pen. So those are the key components. Let me clear all drawings. So here, these are the key components of the Annotate Bar, and with this you can be able to make your illustrations as lively as you would want them to be. These are the key components, and with them you can be able to make sure that your illustration is as lively as you need to be. So text, draw, stamp, spotlight, eraser, format, undo, redo, clear, save. If you can be able to know their functions, you can be able to practice with them, then you're going to be good at teaching using Zoom. So that's the first part of the training. Join me for the second part, then I can show you where you can be able to use them. Thank you so very much. See you in the next part of the training.